All right. Welcome, y'all. So this is the feedback and update session for the Story Bible Unlimited Characters beta. It's such a mouthful. I wish we had a short name for that because every time I have to struggle through that, it's too much. But we're glad you could make it today. The Sudowrite team, the core team focused on building this new feature or this set of features, this significant improvement to Story Bible is here with us. I'm joined by my colleagues Josh and Ginny and Ryan, and we are excited to show you, give you sort of a status update on where we're at with what we've been working on, and also field any questions you have, and give you a sense of where we're headed next with this thing. So let's see, Ryan, did I cover everything? I'm going to hand it over to you next.
Yeah, sure. So specifically, we have a couple items for the agenda today. The first one is that we're going to see a demo of generating characters. That's really exciting. This is new functionality that is going to be dropping into the beta. We also have a smaller feature called add to existing characters button. So if you've already fleshed out a cast of 30 characters for your epic fantasy novel, and then you realize halfway through, man, I forgot to put everyone's eye color on their character sheet. If you customize your default traits, you'll have a way to add eye color to all of them. And then lastly, we want to get your feedback on how we're going to approach dynamic traits on characters. We have two different designs, and we want your feedback on which one feels nicer to your brain. So I'll be leading that. And then at the end, we can have discussion, like an open feedback about how the beta is going and stuff like that if we have time. Cool. So without further ado, I will pass it off to Ginny and Josh to demo the generate character button.
Yeah. I can share my screen and get a demo going for y'all. So you should be able to see a story Bible in progress here. I just want to note we have a brain dump here, and I've mentioned three specific characters. There's Scott, Amelia Earhart, and Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy. Same thing, I have generated a synopsis for this guy, and uh, and I've already have one character down here that has been generated and a fully filled out. This new generate character button is available as of a few minutes ago in staging, so it is available for you all right now. I'm going to go ahead and hit it, generate character. I thought I had, yeah, sorry, we are seeing some old data here. Always refresh before the demo. Yeah, so yeah, there were only supposed to be two characters. Mr. Fuzzy with these other ones existed but were deleted. Now we're seeing Scott was the one that was just generated. One cool thing about this is I'm going to go through and I'm going to delete the synopsis altogether. This simulates just having a brain dump and not having a synopsis yet. Previously in Story Engine, you needed to have Story Bible, you needed to have a synopsis before you could generate characters, but now you can generate a character regardless of having a brain dump or synopsis or nothing at all. If you do not have either of them, it'll just generate a random character entirely. If you have a brain dump, it'll look at that. And if you have a synopsis, it'll look at that instead of your brain dump. Yeah, so it just went through and generated Amelia Earhart. And then I will go ahead and generate one more random character.
Yes, Gianna, the answer is correct. It will not overwrite old characters.
Right. It'll only generate new ones. And so this is a new one that fits into the world that was described. Brilliant scientist, PhD in quantum physics. This is a story about a quantum traveler. So totally appropriate for being in the world. And Yeah. That's it. That's generate characters.
Stacy
Good.
asks, when generating, will it fill in all the customized boxes we've added? If you've added those boxes as default fields, the answer is yes. So if you have a bunch of your own custom default fields, these will be filled in when you generate a character.
Can we see a demo of adding a new custom field and then generating a character and seeing that new character being enshrined with a new default field? I feel like that
Yeah.
would
Oh,
See,
you want to do
yeah.
that one?
with ideas for a new trait to add to the customized traits. Does anyone have a suggestion?
Species.
Species.
Oh, yeah.
Hmm.
And you're seeing a preview of the
Mhm.
feature he's going to demo.
Oh yeah, so we did. Yep. So let me go ahead and hit generate. And yeah, species human.
That checks out.
So
Checks
it
out.
must just to I'm going to ask questions. I will be the I'm also new to some of this. So I'm a good audience surrogate here. What all is it looking at? It must be looking at existing characters so that it's not creating characters again. I know you mentioned some other things, but yeah. So it's looking at existing characters and the things that characters previously looked at in Story Bible.
Yeah, that's right. So it looks at the list of characters that have already been created. So it should not generate something that it already has. If it does do that, we definitely want to hear about it because that's something we'd want to clean up. It will look at your synopsis if you have a synopsis, and generate a character based on the synopsis. If it's already generated everything from the synopsis, every explicitly mentioned character in the synopsis, it will generate a new random character. If you don't have a synopsis, it'll look at your brain dump. And if you don't have a brain dump, oops, and just want to go for it, you can do that too. So let me generate a character without a brain dump, without a synopsis. And in this case, we should get something completely random that probably doesn't fit in the world. Yeah, I mean, this is a fantastic character. Just doesn't have any world or story Bible specific things about it. Ah, that's nice.
And awesome. Another sort of question is it's sort of intelligently populating human into species because it's like, oh, you want me to pick a species? Have we tested? I would imagine at some point, because you could have so many custom traits, I would imagine there's got to be a break point for like, maybe it could handle shoe size or like you could get more and more obscure. But eventually it's like, it must be something that the AI can parse in order to generate that, right?
Why don't we try like a really hard one? Let's see if we can come up with a custom field that's so hard that Sudowrite cannot think it. I think this is the beauty of large language models, is that as long as it's something that you can ask ChatGPT to fill in and it does a reasonable job, here it should also be able to do it. So we could ask like, do you want to try a custom trait that says like character that this becomes in the shadow realm or shadow realm version of this character where everything is the opposite.
Alter ego, yeah.
And actually, I also want to come up with another curveball here, primary relationship, and wonder if it will choose of any of the other listed characters. I have no idea what's going to happen here. That just seemed
Yeah.
like an interesting thing to try real quick.
Yeah.
We're also going a little off the cuff at the moment because I think we no longer have a brain dump or a synopsis. So
Yes, that's also
truly,
true.
it's truly in random roll the dice land at the moment.
Yes. Oh, okay. So we've generated Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy.
He is a cat with a touch
and
of
with a
something
cat.
more.
Yes.
Shadow Fuzz, a darker and more sinister version of Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy, who uses intelligence and charm for
Yeah.
manipulative purposes rather than.
And also,
Oh,
Scott Thompson is another character already generated, the main character even. So
Was this a duplicate though? Do we already have Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy?
we previously had a Mr. Fuzzy Wuzzy that was deleted.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
working as intended.
Yep.
I like that it has an other name of Fuzz, because it would get tiring to constantly say Fuzzy Wuzzy, wouldn't it?
And I just wanted to note, yeah, they did figure out it was a cat. So
not
oh,
just any cat either. I think
yeah,
that's
with a touch of something more, a talking cat. So yeah.
And just wanted to ask chat for feedback. So we have this new feature here to generate a single character, and we will sort of automagically try to figure out the next character to add. And we are open to other ways of generating characters or generating content on a single character. So please let us know in the chat if there are specific ways that you'd like to be generating content. And also, like, beyond this meeting in Discord, let us know, like, I really wish I could generate some things that are on our radar are generating in a initial cast. So if you have a synopsis, you click generate characters and it would generate just all the characters that are mentioned in the synopsis. Another idea we have is generating characters based on a prompt. So you could type in, please give me 2 best friends for the main character that are the source of their support in Act 1 or something like that. Then the other things that are on our radar are fill out all the empty traits on this character. So maybe you flesh out a character by hand for a little bit, and then you hit dialogue style and you get stumped. If you're me, that button would fill out all the holes. Or also just fill in this one specific trait. Maybe you want to go bit by bit and make it your own as you go. So please let us know if either of those ideas or another idea that you come up with is what you want, and that will help guide us moving forward on the functionality that we build out. Okay, Ginny, do you want to demo the add to existing characters button?
yeah. Let me share my screen. Okay, so here we are. As you can see, I have a couple characters. I have generated 2 characters that have kind of the Sudowrite default custom fields here. And then I have one character that just has this kind of one basic description field. But I have these other fields that I've added, like motivation and core wound and dialogue style. And I want to go ahead and bring those into this project with my characters so that I can work with them in this way. So how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to hit add to current characters. And something to keep in mind here is that while these defaults will work across your projects anytime you create a character, when you add to current characters, you're only adding to the characters within the specific project that you have open. So this should add all the fields that these characters are missing in this project. So it's going to go ahead and do that. Okay, it's updated all my characters, and I should be able to see I get motivation, core wound, and looks like for Cassandra. I'm going to get those 3 for Richard as well. And then Jonas gets a whole bunch that he didn't have because he only had this description field. So that works great. Another cool thing you can do is if you have a bunch of characters here that only in this one specific project you want to add to, you can add to all your characters without saving your default traits. So let's say I want to add something like, I don't know, favorite color, just to these without adding that to my default template. All I have to do is hit add current characters without hitting save. It will add favorite color. And then that will only be in this specific project, which is kind of cool. So yeah, that's how it works.
Neato. Rail describe. You have your hand raised.
Just a quick question. Can characters belong to a group, and can you assign attributes to the group instead of the individual, like all characters? Can you just assign it to a subset?
Like, can you add a value in the template? Is that what you're asking? Like add a
Yeah.
value
Yeah.
for groups? Currently,
Yeah.
the template only supports adding a field. So like adding an additional one of these boxes. We don't have a way to add like a certain value
Okay.
default for all characters yet. But that's a really good idea. Maybe we should think about how we want to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think eventually there will be a way to add traits to groups. Not sure what the priority of that would be, but for example, you can imagine for the Lancastrians, there could be a box at the top or the bottom somewhere that says the Lancastrians, and then that could have traits like, when is this group relevant, or leader, for like who's the leader of the group, something like that. Okay, cool. So this is a little bit of a transition now going into my segment. So my segment is going to be focused on future functionality that doesn't exist yet and asking for feedback. So I think now's a good time to pause and just look through the chat and answer any questions related to this new functionality. I'm just scrolling through chat. When generating, will it fill in all the customized boxes we've added? Yes. Doesn't overwrite the already made characters. Yep. Okay. I would want to structure within an individual box. That sounds great. Personality is a huge part of my writing. How can I get the AI to stay true to the personality traits? I agree with Michael. This sounds like what I would call like a prompting concern. So things you can play with are removing information that's less important, or reiterating information that is important in different ways. That's really helpful for the AI sometimes. So like if you have a certain character that's has a personality trait that's really important that you're not seeing incorporated, try rephrasing it in multiple with different ways. It's more likely to understand what you mean. Ellie says she's testing it out and not getting the defaults. So we'll look into that.
I will say, if you are editing your defaults, they do not save automatically like the rest of the character stuff. You do have to click that save button before creating a character, before the defaults are applied. It's a little different.
Yeah, maybe if you close that and there are changes, we should say like, you have changes. Are you sure you don't want to save them?
Yeah,
Something.
I think that's a good idea.
If you click create a character, Ellie, without generating a character, just creating a blank one, does it show the right traits? Or because that would help us understand if it's an issue with generating or an issue with. Okay, so maybe we need to be a little bit more aggressively checking for updates or something. Having generated pros with new character boxes, I feel like it's pulling in more character info. Nice. Does it tend to dump all these characteristics in a scene, or is it selective? I think that's we don't know is the right answer to that question. Your mileage may vary. I think we've seen a mix. Some people have said, hey, it's not bringing in this important thing. So it's like the opposite problem, actually, where it's not dumping enough into the prose. We've also seen people say, hey, yeah, this is beautiful. It's incorporating everything I want. Brilliant. Great. And I actually don't know if I've seen much of info dump. I'm sure it's possible for it to info dump. So yeah, please experiment and let's discover the best practices. And then that can help us with the, the placeholder text and the onboarding for this feature to set everyone up for success. Right now, we're kind of focused on putting all the tools in there that you can make it your own. And then in the relatively near future, we'll spend some more time on quality and giving best practices and guidance and onboarding so that you get great quality results. So Ellie, it would be great if maybe in Discord you can post some details to help us investigate what the issue might be. Oh, also, is there any chance that she has to refresh the page or no?
I mean, it can't hurt.
Try refreshing the page. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Exporting character info, yeah. Maybe. Okay, let's switch up gears now and I will get my presentation up and running. Just loading.
Ryan, you let me know when we should cut.
Yeah, now is a good time.